Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk about how to make an awesome cup of coffee with a Clever Drip brewer. A Clever Drip brewer is just a really simple plastic brewing device. It's made out of BPA-free plastic. This is it right here. So it's just got this little plastic top on it, and it's basically a plastic cup with a special bottom. In the bottom here is this neat little valve. And when you place this on your mug, the bottom gets pushed up and it opens a little valve in the bottom and the coffee drips through there. So I'm going to walk you through the process right now, how to make a really great cup using this simple thing. It costs about right around $20 on Amazon. I've got a link to it on the website, and you can go there for a little bit more information about it. But right now I'm ready for my second cup this morning, and just want to walk you guys through the process of how to make this. Okay, you guys can see the setup I've got here. I'll walk you through everything you need. You probably don't need everything you see here, but I've included some boxes and things just so you can see what this stuff looks like if you're ordering on Amazon, or if you're in the store you need to pick some of these things up. This is just the box the Clever Brewer comes in. The Clever Dripper L is what I've got. So today I'm going to brew a cup of Ethiopian Zone Gedillo Kochere Yerga Chefe. And I probably completely just destroyed that pronunciation. But anyway, so this is just some of the green coffee I haven't roasted yet from Sweet Maria's. Just to show you guys what the green coffee looks like. And then in here I've got some roasted coffee. It's probably about a pretty close to full city roast. I did this last weekend, and so it's been about 5 days, so it's still pretty fresh. This is probably going to be the last cup I get out of it. I just roasted this in my West Bend hot air popcorn popper. There's going to be another video up of show you guys how to do that, and I've also got a video show you how to modify one of those for coffee roasting. So we're going to measure out the beans first, and I just use the little cup that comes with my Bodum Bistro grinder. So I'm going to measure out, in this case I'm going to measure out 30 grams of beans. The instructions on the box say 22 grams is all you need, and and that's fine. That really is all you need. It'll brew a plenty strong cup. I use 30 grams just because I like a nice strong cup. And let's see here. Pretty much going to use up all of these. There we go. 30.3, that's close enough. I'm just going to use the rest of these beans because that's all I've got left for this batch. So the beans are measured out. Go and put these in the grinder here and grind it up real quick. I kind of shake as I grind it because try to get the big pieces moving around a lot. Otherwise when you're done you'll have still a lot of big chunks in there that maybe didn't get ground up all the way. With this Bodum Bistro blade grinder, it's not super critical how consistent, or if you get it just to the right amount of fineness in your grind or coarseness, because the Clever Dripper is pretty forgiving in terms of what type of grind you need and everything. So you're going to need a number 4 cone filter to fit your Clever Dripper, and depending on what size you got, actually, I think these things come in a couple different sizes, but this one specifically needs a number 4 filter. And this size, again, this is, I believe it's called the L size. I'm not sure exactly how they distinguish all their sizes. I think this is called L. So the filter you just kind of put in there like that, just like you would a normal coffee maker. And then what you want to do is wet the filter really good. That helps it stick to the sides. Just makes it easier when you pour the coffee in and then when you pour your water in. And also give it a good rinse, because if there's any paper taste that's lingering in the filter, that'll help get rid of that. So I'm just going to go over to the sink real quick and give this a quick rinse. In the meantime, I've got my electric kettle here, so water's boiling, and should be ready to go here in just a few seconds. But that's probably the first thing you want to do, actually, is get your water going, because that's probably what takes the longest, is getting a nice boil in your water. So just filling this up with water and then pushing the valve on the bottom to let it drip out a little bit. Okay, so that's nice and wet. Gonna put our grinds in here. pour all your coffee grounds. Make sure you get everything. Sometimes tap it on the counter to loosen those up a little bit. Let's see, kill the water. I believe that is just about boiling. All right, don't need this anymore. Get that out of the way. Okay, so this is pretty much ready for water now. So let me see where I'm at in our electric kettle here. Now, if you have a nice, really nice kettle, some of them have a thermometer built in here. But for me, I just have a really cheap little, kitchen digital thermometer. I think I got it at Walmart for like $5 or something. But I just like to make sure my water is right between 200 205 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty much the right where you want it for brewing coffee. Any hotter than that and you can kind of scorch your coffee. Any cooler than that and you won't really extract all like the coffee goodness that makes it have all the great flavors, extract all the oils and all the little bits that make coffee taste so awesome. So here we go, we're right at about 200 degrees, gonna kill the water. Okay, so I've got a second scale here, just because that little scale doesn't really fit the Clever Dripper. Obviously you don't have to have two kitchen scales to make a cup of coffee. So this one, I could have measured my beans on this one, but I'm just used to using that little one because that's the one I take with me to work. And so for the general rule with the Clever Dripper is you want 16 times the amount of water in grams as you started with coffee in grams. Okay, so we put 30 grams of coffee. So ideally you want to look at what's 30 times 16? 300, 480. So 480 grams of water is just about right. On the Clever Dripper box, it says do 22 grams of coffee and 360 grams of water. So, I just aim for somewhere in there. Usually I don't use a scale when I'm measuring out my water just because it's not that super critical. And one neat trick is, if you see where these little ridges come up inside the Clever Dripper, if you fill the water up right to where the water level is about even with the top of these ridges, that is almost exactly about 360 grams of water. So you can kind of use that as a gauge. And if I'm trying to make a cup real quick, that's generally what I do. Okay, so just to be precise, I'm going to try to measure out 360 grams of water for my 30 grams of coffee. Now that's probably overkill for some people and it makes a really strong cup, but I just like it because it just makes it really intense with flavor, and then you get a nice strong cup of coffee. So the first thing though, before you just go crazy and dump all that water in there, you want to wet the grounds real slowly, get them all wet, kind of like that, and then just kind of let it bloom for a little bit. You probably want to pour even more slowly than I did. I kind of did a rush job there, but the point is really slowly wet them, get them all wet, and you can see how it bubbles up like that. That kind of just opens up the coffee. When once it stops bubbling like that, you can start adding a little more, maybe hit a few spots that didn't get wet yet. And then just slowly kind of wet all the grounds, and I'm looking at my scale right now. I'm trying to see when I get right up to that magic 360 grams of water. Right now I'm about 343, a little bit more. All right, 365. That's pretty close, especially since I did more coffee than is typically recommended for the Clever Dripper. So at this stage, you can just kind of start your timer. I got my little wristwatch here. I'm going to start the stopwatch. And we're going to let this go for about 4 minutes. So I'm just going to put the top on to hold the heat in. Put it down, scale out the way here. My mug ready. While that's happening, what I like to do is just go ahead and pour some more hot water in my mug, kind of get that preheated. That way when we put the coffee in, it doesn't cool the coffee off really quickly. It's kind of a nice way to get your mug preheated. All right, we're just about at the 2-minute mark here. So gonna take the top off and give it a little stir. You want to be careful when stirring because this is a paper filter. If you stir real vigorously, you could tear the filter, and then you're going to get some grounds in between the filter and the inside of the Clever Dripper cup here, and those grounds can find their way into your cup. So not super critical. I mean, if they get in your cup, they just sink to the bottom eventually anyway. But just something to think about if you want to try to make a nice clean cup. Okay, we're just about at the 4-minute mark here. So I'm gonna dump out this water that I've got in my mug. The mug is nice and hot, ready to have some coffee in it. So now you just want to set the Clever Dripper on top of the mug. Make sure it's kind of centered, and then just let it do its work. Setting it on there opens the valve in the bottom. So now I'll take this up so you can see. So the coffee is now slowly dripping into the mug. And depending on how fine or how coarse your grind is, a finer grind, it's going to drain a little bit slower, as the grounds tend to kind of clog the water up. In reality, you could probably set it on there after 3.5 minutes. I mean, there's nothing like super magical about exactly the 4-minute mark, but especially since it takes about a good 30 seconds to, I don't know, anywhere between there and 2 minutes for all the coffee to drain in your cup. So I mean, it's essentially still brewing while it's draining. So anywhere from 3 to 5 minute brew time is usually good. And again, I mean, you can streamline this process. I do this at work almost every day. This is how I have my coffee right when I get to work. I make probably 2 cups a day this way. You don't need all these things. We have, fortunate in our little break room at work, we have a hot water kettle. So we always have hot water. So I'll just measure out my beans using my little digital scale here. Measure out the right amount, take my grinder and my Clever Dripper with me, and we'll just grind there in the break room, pour water over, cover it up, and then bring my Clever Dripper back to my desk while I'm waiting for the coffee to be brewed. And then I just set it on my mug and ready to drink. Okay, it looks like it's just about done brewing. So when you're finished, you can just lift it up. It's probably going to drip a little bit, so you might want to put like a napkin or towel or something underneath it. And you can see it makes a really awesome cup. So clean up with this thing is a breeze. All you got to do is just grab your filter, throw that away, and then usually I just give it a nice quick rinse, and it's ready to go again for the next day. Okay guys, the cup's ready to go. Gonna give it a taste here. Oh, that is nearly perfect. It's nice, rich. It makes a really clean cup. Just delicious. Okay, I'm gonna go enjoy this. I hope you guys like this video about how to make a great cup of coffee using the Clever Dripper. Check out some of my other videos on YouTube. I've got videos about how to roast coffee at home, different brew methods, and some tips and tricks for helping you make every cup of coffee a great one. So thanks for joining me today. Cheers.